So today we talk about the flagrant one foul call against Caitlin Clark on Angel Reese on opening day. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. And join us for all the Feverish live games, except for the 3 that aren't on national television, and for Caitlin Clark's crossover every Monday and Thursday, 6 to 7 and 5:30, 6:30, respectively, Eastern time, except for major holidays like Memorial Day. So, Rob, this is the flagrant one foul shot heard around the world. We'll go straight to the highlights. I got 3 different angles kind of for you. So we're going to show that. And you'll notice a push by Angel Reese into Natasha Howard's back before the play.
Rebecca Allen, too strong on a 3. And look out, Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese gets right up into Rebecca Allen.
So Caitlin Clark walks away. Leah Boston tries to hold back Angel Reese and shockingly got a technical. Angel Reese got a technical for her overreaction. And that's one angle. So I'll show you another one that I found. Now I want to play back that right there because, Rob, you can see their arms get tangled up here. So I'm not saying that Angel Reese hooked her. I don't think she did it on purpose, but Caitlin Clark's arm is there across her body, and inevitably she's going to go across her arms. So their arms are going to get tangled up. And I think that's part of the reason Caitlin Clark pushed her a little bit was to get her arm free. Because if you watch this, see that right there?
Yeah, I see.
You can see both of them have their arms up. It's not Angel Reese's fault, but they both have their arms free. So then you can see. Oh. But that little thing looks like
that's such, and the Oscar goes to.
I don't think she flopped. I think she was off balance.
Yeah, but I mean, just her she put a little into it though, Mark.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you another angle, but in my opinion, Rob, athletes in football and basketball are big athletes, and the other person hitting them is big and strong. So sometimes people think it's a flop, and I think it's just they're a little bit off balance. And somebody strong and big pushes you. Doesn't matter how big you are if you're off balance. That can happen. I think people think it's a flop sometimes when it's not. I don't think she flopped. That's just my personal opinion.
I think you're right. She was off balance, but I think she added the dramatics into it a little bit.
Well, she wasn't expecting it. Now, I can't play this in slow motion because I'm short, but I can stop it. You can see she's extending her arm, Rob, and there's a slight push there.
Yes.
So for people who are saying there was no push, there was a push. How hard a push it is and whether the push was part of the reason she used it is to get her arm free is up. Only Caitlin Clark knows for sure. But there was definitely a push by Caitlin Clark, and that's what the refs saw. They must have saw this angle because the ref talked about her extending her arm and pushing her is the reason she got a flagrant one. So I don't know if it warrants a flagrant one because I don't think she pushed her that hard. And if Caitlin Clark was on the receiving end of that foul, no way would the person have gotten a flagrant one foul.
She wouldn't even gotten a foul call, Mark.
I know. There wouldn't even a foul call.
As we saw last year.
If Caitlin Clark got the right foul calls last year, I'd be okay with this flagrant one. I would be because they're just trying to protect the players, and she pushed her to the ground. I think the push looked harder than it was because Caitlin Clark was trying to get her arm free, and number 2, Angel Reese was already off balance at that point.
Right, she was off balance, and then she played it up a little too. I think being the actor that she is.
But the reaction by Angel Reese, it's an overreaction because Caitlin Clark, didn't push her that hard, and she didn't get injured. So the reaction, I think, is too much. And that's why she got a technical.
Well, I wish she, I mean, unlike last year when Angel Reese clapped when she got hip checked on purpose and there was no foul called till like maybe a day later. It was a flagrant, and she stood up and clapped. And so, I mean, like I said, Mark, in sports, things happen during the years. It might be years. It might be a year after. And I mean, I like you said, we discussed this. You don't like that. You don't really like that intentional and the payback, which I think is great. But unfortunately, it does happen. I mean, I've seen, like I said, especially with basketball, even with baseball. You know, the previous year, the guy struts off and does something with a home run, and then the next year, a pitcher has him up and he throws at his head, which I think is horrible. Which I mean, that's stupid. But I mean, with basketball, same thing. The guy might have gotten away with it last year, and then when they confront each other the following year, and he has that opportunity to pay him back, and he does it. And the same thing in hockey too. But I mean, unfortunately, like you said, you don't like it, and I don't like intentional fouls like that.
Rob, I grew up, playing a lot of sports, and I never intentionally fouled anyone. And I played ultimate frisbee for 40 years, and they have spirit of the game as part of the main aspect of the sport. And there's no refs except for in the professional leagues, and you have to make your own calls. And there's a big to do about you making intentional fouls. People really look down upon it. And think about it this way: you've agreed to play a sport, or even if it's a game like Monopoly, and you've agreed to certain rules. And for you to intentionally break that rule, that's to me is a form of cheating. Now, I understand that most sports fans don't see it this way. They see that as what they call a smart foul, which is really a better term for that is an advantageous play, because it's to your advantage to stop the layup, because you're more likely to score more points by allowing the layup than making them make free throws, even though free throws aren't that difficult. So that's why they do it. And so I understand the concept. I just don't personally agree with it morally, or I think in the rules. But that's what basketball is. It's a basketball play, even though it's against the rules, which is a bizarre concept to me.
I mean, you even hear commentators say, well, if you're going to foul him, make sure he doesn't get the ball up and shoot it. So that's, it's intentional foul.
It is intentional. That's the whole thing.
And I've played basketball, and I've had it happen to me, and sometimes like we play pickup, and the guy fouls you intentionally. You kind of look at the person and you kind of go, yeah, I knew he was going to do that. And there was no reaction like hers, because it depends on how hard they did it, but yeah.
But when you don't even play,
I mean, like this previous, I'll just go to example with this previous Knicks and Celtics. I mean, to blatantly just like say, okay, go out there and intentionally foul that person. That, to me, I agree with you. That's not sport. To me, it's not good strategy, and it spoils the game. And I think it does come back to bite you, which happened to the Celtics.
The less you're playing on the ball, the more of the problem I have with it. Playing the ball, what I'm saying? You're trying to block it, and you hit their arms too. It's different. But the less that you're trying to play on the ball, you're just trying to do it, then I have more of a problem with that.
I mean, it was to me, it was disgusting. The Celtics were like, even Tatum was like, hey, he's fouling him, pointing to the I'm like, what is that? What, I mean,
those are intentional fouls, Rob. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah. Well, like I said, it came up, to me, it wasn't. I mean, Robinson's not this star player where he's going to really hurt them. And if you're that good a team, you should try to stop the players. Why don't you just play defense? And then in the process, if he goes up for a shot and you foul him, yeah, that's fine. But the intensity, like you said, they'll grab the player. That's crazy.
I mean, Caitlin Clark made sure she wasn't going to make that basket because she went across. She actually played the ball, though. So, it's not really that bad what she did, because, yeah, she clearly also hit her arms. And I think she did that on purpose to make sure her arms didn't go up, because she don't get the basket and one. I get that. And that's what you have to do in basketball. And that's why people say it's a smart play. For me,
I think it was just I mean, I like I said, I'm not really into like intentionally hurting somebody or whatever, but she didn't hurt her. She went for the ball. That stems from last year with all the calls she didn't get. I think that it just clicked in her mind, and that's why she did it. And I kind of think, yeah, about time, because sometimes if you keep on doing something to a person, and she was always taking the high road, While even getting poked in the eye, what could have ruined her career. If she could be out of basketball because of that. By the grace of God, she didn't get. It wasn't. She closed her eye in time. But I think it was just a build-up from all those stuff last year. And she finally just did it.
I think, well, first of all, she's grown to probably dislike Angel Reese throughout the last 2 years. And not for the same reason Angel Reese dislikes her, which I won't get into now. But because Angel Reese is obviously very jealous and envious of her. But in that particular play, if you see the Angel Reese pushed Natasha Howard, and this is, they want to be together as a team and support each other. So I think Caitlin Clark was supporting Natasha Howard in this particular way. She pointed to the ref, noticed there was no call, went in to stop the call, and she was intent on making sure she couldn't score after she got away with the foul. And then after that, their arms got tangled, and I think she gave a little extra push because of the fact that Angel Reese pushed Natasha Howard first to get the ball in the first place. So I think that was going through her head with a little extra push.
But one thing I didn't like,
my
Mark,
teammate in the back.
Yeah, I probably would have did that. But one thing I didn't like, and they didn't do, so they put the mic in Caitlin Clark's face and asked her about the flagrant foul right away. But they didn't go over to Angel Reese and ask her about the foul during the game.
Not during the game. They asked about her after the game.
Yeah, after the game.
She said, basketball play, the refs got it right, which of course makes no sense because if it's a basketball play, it shouldn't be a flagrant one. But that's what her answer was. She said, move on. That's what she said. Basketball play, refs got it right. So she felt it should have been a flagrant one. But,
well, her coach even went on to say that he talked to her. The coaches talked to her in the back, and they realized it was overreaction too. Because
coach didn't. No, Rob, the coach didn't say that. The coach.
I saw the interview. I saw this interview where he said he talked to them and her in the back. After that, they talked to her in the room about that. Well,
to the press, he said, and I can pull it up if I need to, but to the press, he said she reacted like most people would react to that type of foul. And I don't think so. I think Angel Reese overreacted because I don't think what little push there was, Caitlin Clark didn't push her that hard. It was a push, her arms extended, yes. And I think I said for two reasons. I think she was getting her back for the Natasha Howard push, and also because their arms were tangled up and she was off balance, so it made it look worse than it was. So anyways, I understand it's a basketball play. And I think Caitlin Clark did make a basketball play. I'm just not into intentional fouls. That's just me. But she did play on the ball, so I don't have much of a problem with it because she got a lot of ball. She got a lot of arm too.
I'm probably going to. A lot of people probably will agree with me with this statement. I just say it's about time that she finally just. I'm done with this. You can only do it to a person so long, Mark. And then,
I think it makes a good statement. I'm not putting up with things. I'm not putting up with things where you push my teammate. You got to stand up for yourself. Otherwise, bullies just keep doing it to you.
Right.
And the player one's not going to hurt her. The technicals are what hurt her more. Last year, she had 6 of them. So she didn't get one. By the way, I want to show you the reaction. I want to show you the reaction that Leah Boston got. It's kind of weird because the ref went into the microphone, and I don't know what you can hear when you're in the stadium, but on TV, it's quite clear that he said as a technical on Aaliyah Boston and also Angel Reese. And I would think that someone would tell Aaliyah Boston that she got a technical, so she knows not to get another one, because if you get 2 technicals in a game, as most people know, you get thrown out. She didn't even know. So she's playing not knowing she had a technical, which is not good, because then you got to hold yourself back. But I'll show you that play.
That was
weird that no one told her and that she didn't hear it.
Yeah, her reaction was funny. We'll show that.
Yeah. You got the flagrant. Aaliyah, you got a technical. What happened there?
Amy got the tick?
I know. Wait, what?
I got the tick?
I don't know that.
Oh,
First of all,
I know.
let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good I'm not sure that's up to their discretion after watching the initial whatever happened during the play and then whatever happened after. We watch a lot of basketball. It's a take foul to put them at the free throw line. I'd rather give up 2 points. I've watched a lot of basketball in my life. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. That's not the type of player I am. So, Yes, wasn't anything like that. And I went for the ball, and that's clear as day in the replay. You watch it. You know, it shouldn't have been upgraded. But again, that's up to the ref's discretion. But I appreciate AB having my back. I guess I don't even know what she did. I didn't see that.
Oh, girl.
Have fun paying that fine.
I'm looking at you. Send me.
I got it.
Oh,
Don't worry.
perfect.
What happened when
I agree it wasn't malicious, Rob.
No.
But I think that extra shove, as slight as it might have been, was on purpose.
Yeah.
And I think there was a shove. People are saying there wasn't, and there was. And you can decide how hard to push it was.
Now, Mark, they played each other 3 more times. Do you think there's
Four
gonna
more
be
times, Rob.
I'm sorry,
They're
4 more
playing
times.
5
Right,
this
4 more
year.
times. Yeah,
They're
that's right,
the
4 more
only
times. I'm
2
sorry.
teams that are, I believe.
Yeah, 4 more times. I'm sorry. Do you think there's going to be next time they play? There's going to be any kind of reaction or any kind of?
All I can say is in the next 4 games, that will not be the last flagrant foul that occurs. That's all I can say.
I'm sure.
Between those 2 teams. And I wouldn't be surprised if Angel Reese comes after Caitlin Clark in one of the next 4 games.
I
That's
kind
all
of
I'm
agree.
saying.
Knowing how she is, Mark, I kind of agree with you. So,
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark would keep her head on a swivel if she drives in, and Angel Reese is in the game. Maybe even somebody else on the team might do it to her. Williams, you know, she might do it. So who knows?
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyways, let us know what you think about the foul and whether or not you thought it was a flagrant one or not. I think it's a borderline flagrant one, and you know, I think it's unfair because Caitlin Clark got much worse done to her last year that weren't even called fouls. So in that
Right.
sense, I don't like it. But in sense, I can see that the push was definitely extra in there.
I just gotta say, Mark, payback is a B, as we say.
So I think it's iffy. So anyways, but you can decide yourself. If you like this video, hit the like button and feel free to share it with your family, friends, and acquaintances. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do it so you get notified of our next video. Join us for all of the live Fever games, except for the 3 that aren't nationally televised, and Caitlin Clark's crossover from 6 to 7 and 5:30 to 6:30 Monday and Thursday, respectively, Eastern time, except for major holidays like Memorial Day. If you want, you can donate to this channel with super chats and super thanks down below and a link to PayPal. We'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.